Hey guys, this is Nirmal. Today we are seeing about DP203 exams. I have a 367 questions. So we have a seven chapter of each, which is contain 52. So totally 367 questions. Tomorrow I have exams for DP203. So we going to revision of these questions, which is helpful for the examination. So I download this PDF from on websites. This is very fine. I already attended the DP203, which is helpful for me, but I failed because of I only read on the portions and syllabus. I not read the exam term. So this is exam term. So tomorrow my exam is scheduled. So today we are going to the this one DP203 revisions. So first question is we will go. We have a table in Azure Synapses. We have table in Azure Synapses dedicated SQL pool. Azure Synapses dedicated SQL pool. The table is created using following tenants SQL. This is a dimension table: employee ID, employee key, first name, last name, job title, last hire date. These are things there. They mention like ensure that user can identify the current manager of employee and support for creating the employee reporting hierarchy by entire company and provide the fast lookup of the manager attributes. So what is the answer for this is manager is employee manager key into because another dimension want to match this dimension employee. So this is the answer, which is a manager employee ID null. See, there is a already there in the table. So employee key in it. So this is the we need to add this employee master, which is helpful for the reporting purpose for hierarchy. This is the first question. Second question is you have a Azure Synapse workspace. Name is my workspace that contain Apache Spark database. Is MySQDB. You are running the following commands: Azure Synapse pool in MySQL, my workspace. The create table MySQL Parquet. This is the structure of the table. Using Parquet, you have a spark of inserting the. This is a table you are going to insert. The row contain the following rows: employee name, employee ID, employee start date. You are doing select employee ID, which is this, and from the table see there is a data of database owner is there extra added, but it is created by the MySQL DB. This is not involved in the synapse, so we get as an error. Okay, where employee name equal to alias. Okay, see the answer is B, but not because of a lower case. The case is has nothing to do with error. If you look alternative, you notice that we create the MySQL database table, but select statement content reference table is MySQL database is why DBO is there. There is a error message. The error is Spark category record single part namespace, but you got MySQL DB. Okay. So next question. So you have a table name sales fact. Sales fact in the interface data warehouse in Azure Synapse Analytics. Sales fact contains sales data for past 36 month. Past 36 month. The following characteristics is partition by month, contain 1 million records and has cluster index. Okay. So what they are asking, which three action should be performed the sequence in the store procedure. So what is this is the table have 36 month data. You want to do each month, latest month will come. The 37th month want to remove from the table. The relation option will make too much time. So what we we need to do is we're doing a partition. So see the action need to take. This is the action. So what action we need to do it is create an empty table which is name sales fact table that has same schema as sales fact. Okay, then what should you need to do? Switch into partition contents table from sales facts table. Okay, then what we need to do? Drop sales facts work table. So these are the three actions we need to do, because this is not helpful, because we don't do relation and don't need a wait. So this is the correct. So don't do the truncation. This is not wrong, and this is also wrong. We see the answer. So first create empty table as a sales fact table. Then switch partition, because partition means a last row will go to and drop the this. So first this is the answer. So this is the fourth. So you have a file and folder which is other data like Gen2 for other Synapse workspace. The folder name is this, and this is the file name, is direct file name. Then another folder is there, and then the file 1 has file 2 and file 2 have file 3. You creating an external table for create external table for location top folder. When you query the extract table by Synapse Analytics Workspace SQL pool, which files it is written? While executing this one top folder, which file will be written in the Synapse Analytics Workspace? Answer is file 1 and file 2, file 4. This is the answer. In case of serverless pool, the wildcard should be added the location. The wildcard is not added, so it's defaultly take a file 1 and file 4. Fifth question. So you are planning to deploy Azure Data Lake Gen 2. You have following two reports will access the data lake. Report 1 read 3 columns. See 3 columns from the file that contain 50 columns. Read only 3 columns. Okay, reads 3 columns on the file that contain 15 columns. A query a single record base and timestamp. You need to recommend in which format to store the data in the data lake to support the report. The solution must be minimize the read time. What should you recommend for the each report? So see, the report one is read 3 columns from 50 columns. The second report is query a single report based on timestamp. If you go through the this option, what he given is report 1. What is that? It is column. So column means Parquet file. And also, what is a report 2? It is a timestamp. Timestamp means which file? Is Avro. So Avro will support for JSON and timestamp. Parquet is a column based file, which is only we taking a 3 columns in the 50 columns. This is the answer. We'll checking now. What is the answer? Answer is Parquet, right? Then Avro. There is explanation. The Parquet is column oriented binary format, and also Avro is row based format, and also logic can apply in the timestamp. Okay. Third one. So sixth one. So you are designing a folder section in Azure Data Lake Gen 2 container. User will query the data by using variety of service including Databricks and Azure Synapse. There is a data in the Data Lake Gen 2. You want to query the data from using Databricks and Data Synapse Analytics. These two serverless SQL pool. The data will be secured in the subject area. So secured by subject area. You find the int is subject area. Most of the query is date from the current year or month. The folder section should be a, see there is a subject area is they mention. So this is two subject area. So here you see the year from year with the month date like that you want to come. So answer, this is subject area, data source and year, month, date, and then file data dd. Okay, so we see the answer. There is this is an important reason to put the date at the end. The direct structure. If you want to lock down certain region on subject matters or user group, then you can easily do so with the proxy permission. Otherwise, if you need to restrict a certain security group viewing the from UK data for certain clients, which is data section is friend separate permission required for numerous directories under the every other directory. Additionally, have a structure in the font which we exponentially increase number of directory as of time. So this is also correct. Note, in IoT workload, there will be a great deal of data being landed in the data store that spans across a number of product, device, organization customers. It is important pre-plan the directory layout for organization security and efficiency processing of data from downstream consumes. A general template to the considered might, might be following layout: region, subject matter, YYMM, DD hours. This is the format. The seventh question going. You need output files from the Azure factory. You need output file from Azure factory. Which file format should be used? Each type of output. Each files of output. Okay, you want to come. You need output for Azure data factory. Which file format should be used? Okay, the answer area is column. See, column will go with the Parquet file. We directly put it as Parquet file. Timestamp. What previously we do? Timestamp in Avro, which is JSON with timestamp. We check this is the correct or not. Answer area. A column for is Parquet. Very good. Then timestamp Avro. So we're moving on the explanation. The Parquet stores the data in the column while the Avro store data in the row based format. Okay. By their very nature, the column oriented data store are optimistic for read heavy analytic load, while row based or based on write heavy. Okay. So read heavy load means which can be easily to read is a Parquet, while row base is best for write heavy transaction. Avro scheme is created using a JSON format. Avro support timestamp. Note, Azure Data Factories support following format, not zip and text. Okay, this is zip. It's not support, and zip and text. It's not support. Okay, next question, which is going to. So Avro format is binary format, delimited format, Excel format, JSON format, versus format. Okay. Question 8. You use Azure Data Factory to prepare the record for Azure Synapse Analytic or serverless SQL pool. File or initially injects to the data lake Gen 2 account as a 10 small JSON file. There is a 10 small JSON file in the Azure Data Lake. Each file contains same data attribute and data separately to your company. You need to move files to different folder and transform and data meet the following requirement. Provide the fastest possible query timing and automatic interface the schema in the underlying. How should be configured data factory? See, there is a 10 small JSON which each file have same data attribute and also data from the subsidiary of different subsidiary of your company. They need to fastest query times and automatic interface schema. How should we configure the data factory copy active? What is the answer? Answer is so here copy picker is there is 10 files. So we don't need to small load. We take a runtime is more. So we going to first we do the merge the file 10 JSON to 1 JSON file, and there is a sync file which is used for what is that? Read is very useful for Parquet. So this is the answer. We'll see this is correct or not. Answer area, merge file, very good. Sync file is Parquet. Okay, good. The question 9. See, you have a data model that plan to implement the data warehouse in the Azure Synapse Analytics. This is following fact. There is a fact. This is a star schema, dimension employee, dimension customer, dimension time. All dimension table which is less than 2 GB after compression. The fact table is approximately 6 TB. You see TB. All dimension table will be relatively static, which is not very much few data insert and updates. Which types of table which types of table you can use for each table. Okay. So answer area is dim customer normal dimension which is 2 GB means replicate. Dimension employee also 2 GB, that's a replicate. Dimension time also replicate. The fact table is as distributed. We're going to saw the answer. What is that? Replicate as distribution. So normally replicate is a small table which can be replicate, which is used for fact table. As normally used for fact table using cluster column index, which is used for best for compression. Question 10. You have a data, Azure Data Lake Gen 2 container. Data is injected into the container. Then transfer by a data integration application. Data injection in the container, then transformation data injection. The data is not modified after that. User can read the file in the container but cannot be modify the files. User read the file but cannot modify file. We want to design the archive solution for the meet the following requirement. New data is accessed frequently and must available quickly for possible. Data is older than 5 years and accessed infrequently but need to available within 1 second. See, 1 second. When you request data is older than 7 years, it's not accessible. After 7 years, the data must be priced at lowest cost. The cost must be minimized, which is maintaining the availability. So first is new data, then as 5 years old data, then and 7 years old data. So what you going to the answer area? The 5 years old data should be moved to the cold storage because they are to access in 1 second. Okay. Then 7 years so what they doing is 7 years data. So 7 years they telling right data that is older than 70 not to access. After 7 years data must be processed at lowest possible. Which is lowest in this? Don't be related that block. You move to the archive storage. We see the answer. See cold storage archive. Good. This is the explanation. Optimization storage data rarely you access by store at least 180 days, which is moving to the archive at least 180 days, which is flexible latency requirement in order to for us. The following table for premium performances. There is a table we see going to see. See, the cold tier is 30 days. Archive, which is offline. If you have want to request means cold tier means it's in millisecond be able to access, but cost is heavy for accessing the data. But archive data is it's store in more than 180 days, which is 30. You think like this is first month, this first month, this is the 6 month. So 1 month data is in cold storage, 1 month old is cold storage, 6 month old is in archive database. But 6 month old we cannot access in milliseconds, which will take 1 hours to take the data. So this is you make in mind. So 11th question going to see. So this is the question. You need to create partition table in Azure Synapse Analytics to dedicate SQL pool. See, dedicate SQL pool. How should complete that answer SQL completed? That is a question they given actually. Create table ID column 2 with there is ash. What is ash? It's a distribution. And then what is going to the partition, which is used for partition. This is a partition. ID range is left off 1 comma some one 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 1 lakh and 2 lakhs like that. So answer is the first is distribution, then next partition. We go to the answer. See, distribution is correct, partition is correct. The table distribution option include the distribution assigned to each row one distribution to the hash that values of distribution column name. Partition, the partition column which is range of left to right for values boundary values. So next is 12th question we're going to. So you need to design the Azure Synapse Analytics dedicated SQL pool. Okay. So following this, you want to return the employee records of a given at the time. Maintain the latest information. Minimize the query complexity. So what we do is a type 2. Type 2 is normally type 0 is the dimension will not change. Type 1 is which is truncate load, which is a change, but we don't do the history anything. Type 2 is which is we add new row, which is effective date and from date is there. So explanation is this is the type 2 is support versioning dimension numbers. Often data source system does not store the versions. So data warehouse load the process, detect the managers, change the dimension table. In this case, the dimension table must be a surrogate key to provide the unique reference for version of dimension member. To also include the column define the date range, validity of the version. For example, date, start date, end date is possibly flagged. There is a start date, end date, and also this is normally SC2 means you get a new column. Okay, you check in my okay, making my 13. So you have a interface a wide Azure data lake Gen 2. The data lake is accessible only through an virtual machine. See, this is a virtual machine. Virtual machine, whatever is coming means you make it as a manager identity, which is can be accessible. You are building a SQL pool in Azure Synapse that can be used data from data lake. Okay, SQL pool in Azure Synapse. Use your company as a sales team. The all member of sales team or Azure Active Directory group name, which is sales. The proxy control is assigned to that. The sales group access the file. Sales group access the file in the data lake. You plan the data to the SQL pool every hour, and you need to ensure the SQL pool can load in the sales data from the data lake. There is a sales data from the data lake they want to see. Which are the 3 actions you need to do? First, you want to create manage entity, which is for virtual machine. Then what you need to do, add the manage identity into the sales group. Use the manage identity credential. Use the manage identity as a credential for data load as access. So from data lake to SQL pool, you need to ensure the SQL pool can load data from data log. There is you need to the manage identity you need to choose for actual mission. We see the answer. See, answer is ABF. ABF. The manager instance grant permission to the dedicated SQL pool in the workspace. Note, manager instance Azure resource is a feature for Active Directory. This feature provides for Azure service automatically identity. Azure, okay, this is the answer. Just 14. So here I have a Azure Synapse Analytic dedicated SQL pool. Okay, you have a dedicated SQL pool that contain the user following. User one is server admin. User two is data DB date reader. User one execute the query on database. The query returns the result shown on the following exhibit. This is a query. The select name, table name, database type, data type, and mask and masking function, which is this or they executing. The result showing is birth date, which is name, and table name and data type is masked. And also what is mask function they are using. They are using a default for birthday date, gender for default, an email address for email function, and a yearly income is default. User one is only who access user only is only who access the unmasked data. Okay, you want to see the actual data user unable to see. Use the drop down to the menu, select the answer with choice, the complete each statement based on information present in the graphic. Okay, they are asking a graphic. User 2 user 2 normally read data. How is seeing the masking function is, see there is yearly income is default, so you get it as a 0. Here user 1 query the birth date column, the values written with zip. User 1 is only who access the unmasked data. So unmasked data means the value what they store in the database they can see. This is the answer. We see the answer of this answer area. See user 2 is querying the yearly income is 0 and birth date is value of store in the database. So these are the default menu full masking according to the data type. They feel the unit 0 value for numeric became unit. What are these are data type and default is 0. The value is stored in the database. The user administrative privilege always execute from the masking and see the original data without any mask. The question number 15. You have enterprise data warehouse and analysis of analytics using a polybase. Using polybase, you are creating the external table to query the Parquet file to store in the data lake Gen2 without importing the data from the data warehouse. Using polybase, you can import the data from our SQL pool. Using polybase is a one method to fastly we can view from the table from the file Parquet file. The external table have a 3 columns. You have discovered that Parquet file have a fourth column name ID. See, this is a structure. What we need to do, we adding the new columns. Already they have 3 columns. We need to add 1 columns. If you see the answer, it is 3. See, these are. If you drop the table means it will not. It will drop the structure only. It's not drop the data. So we drop the external table. Then create what is the structure we added. Item ID is what they added new column, which is item ID, and with location, which location, data source, and file format, and reject value, reject 0. So these are the structure. Answer is C. C. Incorrect answer is only this DDL statements. Data definition statements are allowed only the external. The only we don't have any DDL statement apart from the alter. These things is not work for external tables. These are external table. So we just drop the table structure and doing a new structure. This is 16th. You have a 2 Azure storage account, storage 1 to storage 2. Each account hold 1 container. Each account hold 1 container and hierarchy enable. So this have a 1 container, this have 1 container. The system has a file that contain data stored in a Apache Parquet format. You need to copy the copy folder. Need to copy the copy folder and file from storage 1 to storage 2 by using data factory activity. There is no transaction must be performed. The original folder structure must be retained. Minimize the time required. See, there is a Azure account. From Azure account, there is a same structure container is there. But container, if one container is storage one have a file means that same want to replicate in the storage too. But there is no transformation needed. Original folder section need to minimize and minimize the time. What is the answer area? We go to a source type is binary because that a file structure we are doing. This is not for RK. This is a binary. And copy active of a copy behavior is preserve the hierarchy. Same hierarchy we want to do. Don't do the merge and flatten. This is preserve. Same preserve what is happening there. Same want to paste. See the answer area. This is a binary and also preserve the hierarchy. The binary is copy the file as is fastest way. Preserve hierarchy for saving this folder structure. 670. So you have a Azure Data Lake Gen 2 container contain 100 TB of data. You need to ensure the data is containers available read workload in a secondary region. Read workload in secondary. If outage occur in the primary region, the solution is minimize cost. Which is these are minimize costs. We need to do geo replicated storage. I think. Let's see. Yeah. The explanation. See, there is a Azure Data Lake Gen 2 container that contain 100 TB data. You need to ensure that the data in the containers available for read workload in secondary region. If outage occur in the primary region, the solution must be minimum cost, which is geo replicated. While it is true that Microsoft or customers as the interact failover, there is a elaborate in the any seasons of the questions. What is the point of GRS if you cannot read from the after failover? It's provide the service needed at lowest cost. This could be different if there is a key like availability immediate without downtime or automatically, but or none. So if your region is fail or you fail over and read from the second region is bottom line, which is AGRS. So 18th question. You are planning the Azure Gen 2 account storage account. You need to ensure the data like remain available in the available. Okay, if data center is failed, see data center is failed in the primary Azure region, the solution minimum cost. Which type to replication should be the storage account? Which type is replication? This is data redundancy should be used for what data redundancy they are using is a geo replication. Their replication should be there is a region fail means what replication? Same zone replication storage we need to do. Answer is D. Zone registration you are copying sync across the all three Azure availability in the primary region. See, primary region have a one locals they have a three redundant storage. In three situation, one is fail means which is this is the lowest cost, but this is different. Which is if we need to no need a downtime anything, we can use GRS. The zone data is copy is synchronizing across these areas. Local analytics is connected three times the single physical location in the primary region. This is the primary region is failed. So LR is the least expensive replication option, but not recommended for application required for high availability of. They are asking high availability and for durability. 19th question. You have a SQL pool in Azure Synapse. Okay. You are planning to load the blob storage to staging table. So approximately 1 million rows of the data will be a loading daily. The table will truncate before the daily load. You need to create a single staging table. The solution is minimize how long it takes to load the data staging. How should you configure the table to answer this approximate question answer? The answer area is which distribution we use for the staging area is replicate, not replicate. It is a round robin. Replicate is for dimension. Hash is used for fact. Which index we use? Index is heap. because it is a truncate row. Which is a partition? Partition and no need a partition is a truncate row. We are going to the answer. Round robin heap and this is the answer. We are going to 20th. You are designing a fact table on fact purchase in the Azure Synapse Analytics for dedicated SQL pool. The table contains purchase from the supplier for retail store. The fact purchase will contain following columns. See, there is a table in the Synapse. The fact table is a fact purchase. There is a column. The purchase key, nullable is no, date key is nullable is no, supplier. These are the columns they have in the fact table. Fact purchase, which is 1 million rows of data daily and will contain 3 years of data. Trans SQL is similar of following the exhibit query. There is a select query they are doing. The supplier key, which table distribution minimize the time? Answer is C. We have two hash distribution is there, but there is a purchase key. This is a what table this is? This is a purchase table. So purchase key normally have a lot of unique columns, so we going for purchase key. We see the answer. As distribution tables improve the query performance for large pattern to balance the parallel processing, select the distribution column that has many unique columns. See many unique columns. The column can be have a duplicate value. All rows within the same value are asked into same distribution. Since there is a distribution, same distribution is one can have more than one unique value, while other zero value does not have nulls. So or few nulls is a date column. Incorrect answer is that not a date column. See, as distribution is not a date column, not be a date column. Make it mine. Distribution is not a date column. It's not a data column. Does not have null or has any few nulls. Have many unique columns. The columns can be duplicate value. Can have a duplicates value. All rows are same value or assigned to same distribution. Since there is a distribution, some of distribution can have one then more than unique value, which is other than divided by 0. So it's not be a date column. So keep it in mind as distribution. Don't be have a date column. See, as distribution won't be a date column. And also, I don't have a null or few nulls or column. Data is there. 21st question. From data website analytics system, you are receiving the data extract about the user interaction. So like a download link, click for submission for download from video place. The data contain date, event category access. These are the what data is there. You need to design the star schema to support analytic queries for the data. The star schema which contain 4 tables including date dimension, to which table should be add each column. If you go this, see, event category is dimension event. Channel grouping is dim channel. Total event is it is a total event which is a measurement. So fact table event. So we go to answer area. See, it's correct. It's correct. It's also correct. Fact table is store the observation of event and also can be stored orders, stock balance, exchange rate, temperature like that. Question number 22. This is a question is a part of series of questions that present the same scenario. Each question in the series contain unique solution that might be meet the started goals. Some constraints set up might be they are giving a description. What is answer of the question section? You will not able to return it. As a result, the question will be not appear in the review questions. So what they are asking? You have a Azure Synapse account, storage account, which is contained under GB files. The file contain row of text and numerical value. 75% of row contain description of data. That is average length of 1.5. See, the Azure storage account that contain 100 GB for files. 100 GB files is there. Number of files is there. The files contain rows of text numerical 75% numerical value. Text and numerical values is there. Second point. The 75% of row contain description data that has average of length is average length, the length of the data is 1.1 TB. You planning the data from the data storage account to the data warehouse. You are moving to the data from storage account to data warehouse in Azure Synapse Analytics. You need to prepare the file to ensure the data copying quickly. So what we need to do? See, there is a three things they mention. Azure storage account is contain 100 GB files. 100 GB of files is there. The file containing the text and numerical values. Okay, text and numerical values is there. The 75% of rows, 75 rows contain description of the data that has average length is 1 MB, which is 1 MB. So you need to plan the copy the data to the Azure account to the enterprise data warehouse in Azure Analytics. You need to prepare the file to ensure the data copy is quickly. So there is a solution they're giving is you are converting the file to the compressed identical delimited text file. So file we want you to do compress and delimited, which is helpful for our goal, which is quickly we can do. We're going to compress the delimited file. Yes, the answer is yes. It is a goal is yes. Explanation: all the format have a different performance of characters. For the fast load, you are using compressed delimited text file. 23rd, same question they are asking. See what they are asking. You have a same 100 GB files is there. The file containing the row or row text file. So the files contain the rows text numerical values, and 70% of rows contain description data. Average length is 1.5. You plan to the copy the data from the storage account to enterprise data warehouse and others not valid. So you need to prepare the file to ensure the data quickly. That what they are doing, you copy the file to table is column store index, because we what we need to do in storage itself we cannot do the index. After that in table only we are able to create the index. So this goal is not able to do. So the answer is yes. It's a no. Instead of the file compressed a delimited file. Okay. The same question, same scenario asking. They are giving a different solution. They are asking. This same, you have a storage about 10 GB files. The file contains the row of a text numerical value. 70% rows contain description data is 1 MB. You plan to copy the data which is entered by data warehouse. You need to prepare the file to ensure the data copy quickly. They actually modify the file to ensure that each row more than 1 MB. This is not possible. For each row, we going to modify the 1 MB means we have a solution which is compress the uh, delimited text files. Answer is B. Same, instead of file compress delimited text file. We are going to 25th. So you're building a data warehouse in the Azure Synapse Analytics dedicated SQL. Analyze write complex right. Analyze write. There is a data warehouse in the Azure dedicated SQL pool. Analyze write a complex select query contain the multiple join and case statement to transform the data inventory report. Okay, there is a multiple joins and case statement perform the inventory report. The inventory report will be data additionally where condition for parameter depending of the report. If there is a table which is used for different vertical means, the report can filter by the where condition, and that report produce each once in one time we will use. So what is you need to do? It is a materialize. We push the data into one table. That is a materialize, which is minimize our query per time. Each time we don't need to execute. This is explanation. The materials view for the dedicated SQL pool, which is low maintenance method of the complex analytic query to get faster performance without query changes. Okay. Next, 26. You have a Azure Analytic Workspace 1 that contain Apache Spark pool name pool 1. You plan to create the database. You plan to create database in pool 1. You have a Azure Synapse workspace that contain Spark pool. There is a workspace in Synapse. You have a Spark pool is there. You want to plan create database in the pool. In the Apache pool, you want to create the database. You need to ensure that when table is created in DB1, the table is available automatically in external table, which is to build the serverless SQL pool. So which format is used for table? Normally which format is RK and CSV, which is helpful for that external server, which is serverless SQL pool. We check the answer A and D. For Spark, external table based Parquet CSV file are located in the Azure storage. An external table is created in the external serverless SQL pool. Okay, that is a serverless SQL pool. They are creating a database. So this is a serverless SQL pool. As such, you shut down. You can shut down the Spark pool. Still, your query Spark external table for serverless SQL pool. If you stop the Spark SQL pool in the serverless SQL pool, this using the CSV Parquet file data is available. Going to 27. You are planning to a solution to aggregate the streaming data. Aggregating the streaming data. Streaming data means normally what we'll do. Stream data will come originated by Apache Kafka and output to the Azure Data Lake Gen 2. Output is input is Apache Kafka and output is Azure Gen 2. The developer who need to implement the streaming processing using Java. See Java. Which following recommend for processing the streaming data? So Java means normally we could take the Azure Databricks. So Azure Databricks only will support the Kafka and also Java. Answer is D. The following table summarizes the key difference of the capability of stream technology. This is a capability of Azure Stream Manager, HT Insight, Spark, Apache Spark, and Databricks, and HT. See, these are HT Insight, which is support Java, Java, Java. But here the HT Insight is not there, so we defaultly we go for Databricks. Azure Synapse only support the Azure Stream Analytics only support a Stream Analytics query language and also JavaScript, not in Java. So other HT Insight, which is Spark streaming, Apache Spark Databricks, and HT Storm will support a Java. Additionally, here support is R also support. Okay. The integration capability also, see, Azure Synapse will support not Kafka. Apache Databricks will only support Kafka. So Kafka is support for HT Insight and Apache Databricks. So Azure Event Hub and this is the input Azure Event Hub, IoT Hub, and Azure Population only Azure Stream Analytics. This is Azure Event Hub, IoT Hub, Kafka, HDFC, storage blob, Azure Data Lake Store. This is the same Data Lake Store is there, blob is there, storage is there, HDFC, Kafka is there. Same similarity is there. This is event is there. IoT is the Kafka is not there in HT Insight Storm. Storage is there, blob is there, Azure Data Lake is there. Only difference, Kafka will only support the Databricks. And sync, you see, Data Lake store is there, SQL language is there, and event hub is there for stream analytics. For this, STFS is there, Kafka is there, see, sync Kafka is there, storage is there, Azure Lake storage which support. So Cosmos also support. There is a different Data Lake store also support. Cosmos also support. Same also event hub and service of bus and Kafka. There is no Azure Data. Azure Data Lake will not support for a Storm. Next 28. You are planning to implement the Azure Data Lake Gen 2 container, which is containing a CSV file. Okay, you contain Gen 2 have CSV files. The size of the CSV file will be varied. Number of server event of occurring. There is a difference of files is available in the This is Gen2. The file size range to 4 KB to 25 GB. You want to ensure the file stored in the container optimizing the batch processing. See, there is a file which is same structure. What we need to do, we just compress the, sorry, not compress, we need to merge the file. All merge the file and we push it in the our batch processing. Answer is D. Answer, there is explanation. If you store your data as mini small, this is negatively affect the performance. In general, organize your data as larger size file better than 266 MB. This is a 4 KB to 5 GB. This is 100 GB size. Correct, and the DF you store the data. Or I don't know what is this. DIF you can store your data as many small. This is negatively in performance. Generally organize the go into the large files into better formats of this. So you want to merge the file using ADF or anything. So 29th. You are store the file in Azure Data Lake Gen 2 container. The container have a storage policy shown in the following exhibitor. There is a store file in the Azure Gen 2. The container have the storage policy shown in the following exhibit. See, there is a rule. The rule that is enable is true. A name is concoscore. A type is life cycle. A definition action variation delete it day after creation greater than 60. So after greater than 60 you want to delete. There is a base power tire course. After day after the modification we move to the tire 2. See, this is to delete, which is greater than 60. This is for tire 2, which is after the day after modification, just 30 days. And also they have filter which is blob type and blob code. This is containers, which is this is the container they mentioned, blob container. We go for what is a using a drop down means menus to select the answer of choice is the same. So we're going to the answer. See, if you go up 30 days, after 30 days, what should happening? It's moved to the cool. The storage policy applied for container Costco CSV file. This CSV file is a container. What is the Cosmo, which is container 1. I think this one. Wait. Answer is this one. See, there is a container Costco. So this is the CV apply. Which question I get it here? So if you see the JSON format, the rules enable true, name is Cosmo role, type is lifecycle, definition action version table. If we want to delete after the creation of greater than 60, we move to try to cool after the greater than 80. There is a block type, there is a perfect match is container console. So answer is 30 days means move to cold storage. The storage policy apply for container Cosmo. If you see is correct. Incorrect. Okay. The management policy of a tier to provide the setup function is called the support the higher priority to find the prefix array which is match each rule that ends in case sensitivity prefix the string which start with the container which is case sensitivity. So what is in there? The container has one as password that you need to do. If it's there in case C is uppercase means that will not applicable for storage policy. going for 30. You are designing a financial transaction table in Azure Synapse pool. The table will be a cluster column index, and you will include in the following columns. There is a financial transaction table in Azure Synapse pool. This is the first line. Second, the table will be have a cluster column store index, which is column store index, which is a fact table. We wanted there is a transaction is 40 million per transaction. Customer have 4 million. Transaction month is 65 millions per month. Account type is 500 million of per account type. There is a per month they have 65 million, and transaction type is 40 million per account transaction type. We have a following queries. Analyze you very most of a common analyze transaction are given by month. A transaction analysis type by a summary transaction by and customer segment or account type. You need to recommend the partition of if we see which is more account type. Transaction type is answer. Okay, transaction month is answer. Because see, there is a partition which is used for there is a 65 million per month. So they have more than month which is used for we don't partition is used for month or date column we can use, not for uh, distributed. So this is a transaction month. There is explanation. For optimal compression performance, the cluster column store index, the minimum 1 million row for distribution and partition is needed. Before partition created, and dedicated SQL code already divide each of the already they divided using distribution 16 example. Any partition added in the table is an addition of distribution created beyond the scenes. Using example in the sales pack, they have contained 36 monthly partition given 36 months is not actually this example month and given dedicated SQL pool have 60 distribution. Then the sales pack have contained 60 million per row per month. 60 million per month. Okay, or 2.1 million rows which is month is populated. If a table contains fewer recommended minimum number of rows, partition consider the fewer partitions in order to increase the number of row per partition, which is used for 65 minutes. Okay. If a table consists of fewer than recommend minimum number of rows partition, consider the fewer. If a table contain fewer then recommend minimum number of rows. The table contains fewer than okay. 31. You have a Azure Data Lake Gen 2 account 1 and store the logs for following first. Application is there is a Azure Data Lake Gen 2 account 1 that store the logs. Gen 2 account that store the logs. Application logs which is 360 days retention period. Infra is 60 days. You don't expect that the log will be accessed during the retention period. See, you don't expect the log will access during the extension period, which is after the 360 days you don't able to access. You need to recommend what solution for account one for the following: automatically delete the logs of each retention period and minimize the cost. So what we'll do? So to minimize the cost, the store the infra is called access tier because 60 days is called access tier and application logs to archive archives. To delete the automatically means Use Azure Blob Storage Lifecycle Management rules. We seek the answer. See, they store the infra logs to cold access tier and application logs access because it is more than 360 days. So we move to the archive 60 days, which is cold tier, which is not more than 30 days. So this is 60 days. We move to the cold. The explanation: the store the infra log is cold tier, which is application archive tier. For infra log is cold tier, online storing the infrequent access or modified data is cold tier should be stored minimum 30 days. The cold tier lower storage cost of higher accessing cost compared to hot tier. For application laws, archive tier, the offline optimizes storing the data rarely used and that are flexible latency requirement in order to hours. Data archive there is a 180 minimum 180 days. Box 2 Azure lifecycle is rule. This is a Azure box lifecycle offer rule-based policy that you can use transaction to data and describe the access that tier. You specify the condition to meet. You can use the lifecycle management to expect the data at the end of its life. So 32. You are planning to inject the streaming social media data in Azure Synapse Analytics. Data is stored in the file. Data will be stored in the file Azure Data Lake storage, and then consumed in using Databricks and Polybase using there is a storing in the social media data by Azure Analytics. The data will be stored in the file of data lake files and then consumed from Azure. The data is come from social media. It is moved to using Azure Stream Analytics and data stored in the Azure data lake storage and then consumed by Databricks and Polybase using Azure Synapses. You need to recommend Stream Analytics data output format. Ensure the query from Databricks and also Polybase against the file encoders possible few as possible. The solution: ensure the quickly and data type information returned. We can use Parquet. Need to Parquet support the Polybase, which is Parquet is support Databricks also and also Polybase. 33. So you have a data in Azure Synapse Analytics dedicated SQL pool. Data in the Azure, you have a Azure Analytics dedicated SQL pool. Name pool 1. The pool 1 contains partition by fact table. Fact table sales. A staging table is staging table. There is a fact table is DBO sales and staging sales. That's a matching table and partition defined. They are matching table. We need to override the content the first partition in DBO sales with the content same partition staging. The solution must be managed. See, there is a first partition. So we want to insert the from staging to sales table, from staging to actual table. So there is a after doing a switching partition. So there have a you have a Azure analytical disk pool. The pool contains the partition fact table. Pool contain that pool itself. They have a partition fact table is there, and also staging table is there that are matching the table and partition same structure they define. You need to override the content the first partition in the first partition C in the sales with the content of same partition staging table. So solution is minimum. So answer is in the so this is the DBO. From switch the first partition from staging to DBO sales. The target partition should be empty and answer is not observed. In default way, data come to the staging and DBO partition is empty, or you clean it after the switching source staging to target. This is simple way to move to the staging to table using partition. 34. You are designing SCD for the supply data in Azure Synapse dedicated SQL port. The plan for keep record changes in the available field. The supply data contain the following columns. They have supplier system, supplier name, address, city, state, previous. These are their columns. Which three columns should be used? SCD2. SCD2 normally what we do? There is a new row we'll add for SCD2. So this which is worth this 1 point, which is we need to add three additional columns. So what we do? Effective start date. We need a surrogate key of primary key. And also last modified date is needed. We each is three surrogate key, effective start date, and last modified date, which is helpful for when is last modified date is happened, and this that record which is started, and also primary key which is helpful for which is taking a latest primary key. So we see wait, I'm moving on. It's not seeing a E, so wait. So there is a effective start date needed, effective end date is needed, and also surrogate primary key. These are the three answers needed. We see the answer. See, the type 2 is required for surrogate key to uniquely identify the each record which version is there. The business key is already part of the table. Supplier ID is which is source ID. So we have a needed new rows for we maintain the history in SCD2. So we what we do, there is effective date, effective end date, also surrogate key, surrogate primary key we will maintain. 35. You have a Microsoft SQL Server database in the three norm from the schema. Three norms of schema. You plan to migrate the database in the star schema. You're going to migrate the data to star schema into the Azure dedicated SQL pool. You need to design the dimension table. The solution is optimization read operation. What should be the solution? The transfer data in dimension table, which is denormalized the second normal form. For primary key column dimension table is new identity column needed to introduce. See, there is an explanation they're giving. So denormalization is the second form. Or also we see in the Chrome, no issue.
Playing from laptop Golf Grate.
So these are the first forms to form three forms. First form is stable automatically supply key. Denormalization second. The first condition of the table is second form is the table has first two columns. Table should not be replicated dependency and is not replicated. No. So this is the answer. The explanation: denomination is the second norm. Denomination is a process of transformation higher norms to lower norms. Higher norms to lower norm by a storing a joint to higher norm to relationship based equation. A denomination increase the performance to data retrieve the cost, bring to update. So what we are doing is from database third norm to we have to denormalization to the second form. One minute. So what we are doing is renormalizing the data when moving to database to data warehouse. There is a database. We moving to data warehouse. What we need to do? We need to denormalize the data. Same like need a primary key for dimension. You need to create a new identity columns. Okay. Next. This is the explanation. The surrogate key of the table is column which is unique identifier for the row. The key is not generated for the table. A data modeler like creating a surrogate key on the table when they're designing the data warehouse model. You see identifiable property or scale the goal to simplify the effective without the load performance. Okay. We go for 36. You're planning to develop the dataset of purchase for using Azure Databricks. The purchase will be contain the following columns: product ID, item price, line control, product ID, month, hours and year and day. There is a day, year, hour, month is there. You need to store the data hourly incremental load pipelines. You need to store the data, support the hourly incremental load. You need to store the data hourly incremental load pipelines. You are plan to develop the dataset in the purchase by using Azure Databricks. The purchase table contain. Okay, they that will be vary each store ID. Okay, the solution must be minimize the storage cost. What is the complete the code? The answer area. So the data frame dot write partition by store ID, year, month, year, because we don't use the partition store ID hours, because hours means there will lot of different year multiple rows will. So partition by store ID, year and there. The mode of append is save as table, because the save as a table they mention like a table. See, purchase in dataset is its name of Databricks. So this is the answer. Partition by store ID, year, month, day, hours, and append save as a table. Which is purchase. Answer is partition, store ID, and okay. It's not a parquet. Okay, it's my fault. So saved as a parquet. You need to plan to develop a dataset name is purchase by Databricks. The purchase will contain the following columns. So you need to store the data to support the hourly incremental load pipeline that will vary the store ID. The solution must be minimize the cost. How should you complete the code to answer the code? Partition by store ID, year, month, hours. So append is parquet. You need to do the parquet because in Azure Databricks there is a no table is there. So if you there is in the purchase table is SQL means we can do it as a save as table. So I do the mistakes because I'm not reading questions. So make sure The database is in Azure Databricks. At Azure Databricks, purchase using Azure Databricks. So Databricks only query the files. So there is a file parquet purchase. Just copy this query and just I want to need to verification this is correct or not in the different website I want to see. So this is parquet file for using the Databricks. That is explanation partition. We should override the partition level. For example, data frame dot write partition by year month dd bot mode which appended and also parquet which file name. See, data hive warehouse database and table name which is each is a file. We store as a file. And box 2 is store id here because they mention like a store id minute hours like that mentioned. So they we are doing this one and this purchase is a parquet file. X37. So you are designing the partition strategy for fact table Azure Synapse. You are designing the partition strategy for fact table in Azure Synapse Analytic dedicated SQL pool. Okay, that is a dedicated SQL pool. You are doing a partition strategy. The table as following specification that contain the sales data for 20,000 product. You have a distribution. You have a as distribution for column. As distribution they mention in fact table is product ID. They contain 2.5 million records for the year 2019 and 2020. Which number of partition range to optimal the compression perform with the custom store index? There is a 40 to 40, 400 to 4100. So answer is will contain 2.4 million records, 20,000 product. Answer is which number of partition range which provide the 2019 2020. The answer is 240. This is 40. Why 40? Why 40? There is a 2.4 million record is there. Okay, 2.4 million record is there. 2.4, how many distribution is there? 60. So 2.4 into 60 is 40. 2.4 into 60 is a 40 million. Each distribution should be a 1 million record. Each distribution is a 1 million record. Dedicated SQL pool already have a 60 distribution. You have this is a formula you need to do. The number of records is 2.4. 2.4 into how many partitions is there? 100, which is divided by 60. You can just do it at 2.4 divided by 60 equal to 40. Having too many partition can reduce the effectiveness of a cluster code index. If each partition fewer than 1 million rows, dedicated SQL pool automatically partition your data by 60 database. So if you create a table with the under partition, the result will be a 6000 partition. So answer is A is correct. Now number of automatic partition is 60. So each distribution have a 2.4 billions. Divide by 40, divide by 60. For good performance, each partition distribution, sometimes a bucket of data should be 1 million. So 40 partition. Another way think like the number of records a period state is 2.4 million. And number of underlying automatic distribution 60. 2.4 divided by 60 is 40 million records. Okay. Another consideration that you would like, having too many partition can reduce the effectiveness of the cluster store index. If each partition have a fewer than 1 million rows, see there is 60 partition is there, 60 distribution is there. The 60 distribution, if you're doing a partition means the partition should be a 1 million. Dedicated will automatically 60 database into 60 database. So table no partitions 60 million. So answer is 40. Good. That is the answer is partition is 40. Just 37 is, I guess it is wrong. Going for 38. You are creating a dimension table of data warehouse and this is only calculating dedicated SQL code. You are creating a table trans SQL. This is a dimension table. The drop down is there. See, there is a which SCD they are asking. If you see the SCD and product key is the product key is a surrogate key. Okay, and which SCD is the sales end date, row insect updated. This is the row insect date time, row updated, and ETL audit ID is there. So I say SCD2. We check the answer. SCD2 and it's a surrogate key. The type 2 support version of a dimension number often of source system does not store the version. So in data warehouse load system process detect and manage the chains of dimension table. In this case, the dimension table must have the surrogate key to provide the unique reference of the version of the dimension numbers. It also includes the columns that define the date range validity of the version. The example start date, end date, and the flag columns. Flag column, for example, is current. This is filter condition. So if you see there, product key is a surrogate key of identity column. There is a column called row insert date time and row update date time. So there is a row insert, there is no update. And also there is a product key is the which is we can is it correct or not. Going to question number 29. You are designing a fact table which is purchasable in the Azure Analytic into dedicated SQL pool. The table contains the purchase forms purchase from the supplier of the retail store, fact purchase. These are the things. I think this question already came right. Answer is as distribution purchase key. Because this is a fact table, the main word is purchase key. So the fact table is 1 million records which are added daily and which is contain 3 years of data. Answer SQL is similar like a following execute column. Answer is which table distribution. Distribution is memory query as distribution purchase key. Answer is B. As distribution table improve the query performance on the large table and also more focus on the article. Round robin table are useful for improving the load count. Okay. The question number 40. You are implementing a batch dataset in the Parquet format. The data file will be produced by using ADF. Data files will be produced by using a ADF and store the data like Gen2. The file is consumed with. You are implementing the batch dataset in Parquet format. Data file is producing using the Parquet file is producing using a ADF and stored in the data lake Gen2. The files will be consumed by Azure serverless Azure Synapse serverless SQL pool. Minimize the cost. What is the minimize cost? I think use snappy compression for the file. So this is the answer. Just copy this one. I need explanation of this app. See, you are implementing a batch dataset in the Parquet format. Data file is produced by ADF and stored in the data lake Gen 2. The files will be consumed by the Azure Synapse Analytic Serverless SQL pool. Okay. There is explanation. Answer is A. Consider the compression code using the writing the Parquet file. When reading from the Parquet file, Data Factory automatically generate the compression code based on the file metadata. The support type is none, none, G zip file, and Snappy. Snappy is like a zip file. The another explanation is also given. The external table data located in Hadoop or Azure blobs or Azure data lake. External table are used to read the data from the file or write the data. Read the data file and write the data from the Azure data. With Synapse SQL, you can use external table to read the data using dedicated SQL pool or serverless SQL pool. Okay, the answer should be A, which is snappy compression for the file. Because talk about the need to minimize the cost. Even the Parquet file is minimized the storage. Even Parquet is a minimize the storage. But even the Parquet we need to minimize the Parquet compress. Using Snappy is good form of compress the file. I found this compression method which is explained the A is not an answer. Storage is space is a major concern. The technique also parallel processing another. Okay. In serverless SQL pool, you don't create the copy of the data. So how to be cost effective? Don't forget there is the transaction cost part of the storage cost. So taking the subset of the columns to the lower cost of release. This is incorrect. Externally not saved in the database. Pressing the SQL serverless this is store local services. Use snappy compression the file is the only answer which is minimize the cost of storage. Give me a minute. The Snappy is a tool like a unit of data compression. Okay, if you have a Parquet file, you want to compress the same file to compress means you use a Snappy. If the Parquet file have a 100 MB is there means we can compress at 10 MB using a Snappy. They have mentioned like you need to minimize the storage cost, so we need to use Snappy compression of the file. I'm reading a discussion of this question. Using snappy compression for the Parquet file help to minimize the storage call while still maintain the good compression efficiency. Snappy is compression library that offer a good balance between the compression ratio and processing speed. By compressing the data using a Snappy, you can significantly reduce the amount of storage required by dataset. That's good. So what about option P? Using OpenShift, the query Parquet file does not directly impact the storage cost. Correct. It's not impact the storage cost. Second, OpenShift is not directly impact the storage cost. It is a method of query of data, but does not address the storage optimization. Correct. C. What about C? Option C is creating the external table, which is subset of the columns, may be able to reduce the query cost, not storage cost. Minimize the amount of data that needed to processing the during queries. However, it does not directly address the storage cost. It's not do the storage cost, only the query cost will be reduced. What about option B? Sorting all data in the string in the Parquet file. What they store all data string in the storing all data and string in a Parquet file can increase the cost of storage costs rather than they minimize them. Storing the data in the string without appropriate compression would be result a larger file compressive and compression algorithm like a Snappy. Snappy is a compression tool. So what they asking the data that we need to the Parquet format. The data file is produced by ADF. The stored in the Gen 2. And assuming that the data file will be consumed by Azure Data Analytics Serverless Pool. You want minimize the storage cost. Storage cost will minimize. Already Parquet file is format is a minimize cost. But after Parquet, we need to the happy comparison with the store the storage the cost. This is the answer. So moving on to 41. You need to build a solution to ensure the user query specific the file in Azure Gen 2 account Azure Synapse Analytics Serverless Pool. Which three action to perform the sequence? What they did, you need to perform build a solution ensure the user can query specific file in the Azure Gen 2 account the Azure Synapse. There is a serverless pool is there we created in the Azure Synapse. We want to query the Azure Data Lake Gen 2 files specific pool. Which three action need to sequence? First we need to see these are the action they given. First action we need to the data source, then format, source, format, and external table. These are the things. Going to answer first external database, then file format, then external table. These are the answers. So I am going for discussion what they discussed actually about this table. So create an external data source reference that Azure Data Lake storage, which credential need to reference the Azure Data Lake specify the credential that should be credential we can use in data source. Then external file format to describe the which file is a Parquet file or CSV file, and create external for top of the file which is data source and same file. Answer is correct. This is explanation. The created external data source, you create the external table in Synapse via following step. Create external data source, which is refer the external storage, specify the credential that should use to access the storage. Second is data source file format, which is describe which file is CSV or Parquet. Then external table on top of the file placed on the data source, which is same file format. And step 2, create a external format and create an external file format prerequisites. These are three things we need to. First is source, format, and table. We move to 42. You are designing a data mart. There is a data mart in the data warehouse and HR department for your company. Data mart will be contain employee information and employee transaction. For the source system, you have flattened the extract the following code. Employee ID, they have a transaction ID, government ID, net amount you pay. You are designing. Wait, I need to highlight these things. So you are as a data. There is a data mart will be this employee information. There is employee information, employee transformation. You need to design the star schema. You need to design the star schema for Azure Synapse dedicated SQL pool in the data mart. Which two tables should be created for this? See, there is a what they have two tables they mentioned. Employee information. Employee information normally in dimension table and transaction would be a fact table. What's the answer? C and E. A dimension table contain attributes of data might be changed but usually change is infrequently. For example, customer name and address stored in dimension table update only when the customer profile of change. To minimize the size of the large fact table, the customer name and address don't need to every rows and fact table, correct? Instead of fact table, dimension table can share the customer ID. The query can be joined two tables to associate the customer profile and transaction. Okay, a fact table contain quantitative data, which is measures that commonly generated in the transaction system and then located into the dedicated SQL pool. For example, retail business generated sales transaction every day every day and then load the data in the dedicated SQL. This is the C. They're going for 43. You are designing a dimension table data warehouse. The table will track the value of dimension attribute over the time. They will track the value of dimension of over time of history. They are maintaining the history of a new rows. New rows means absolutely type 3. So type 2. Because type 0 is what you do. There is a no table change. Type 1 is which is truncate row. Type 2 is adding a row. Type 3 is adding column. So we normally type 2 have a history of the what is the effect happen in the there. Type 3 only have a two visions. There is no row is contained, only the column will there. There is explanation. A type 2 SID support version of the dimension members often of source system does not store vision. Okay, often the source system does not store the vision. So data warehouse load the process, detect and manage change in the dimension table. In the case of dimension table, must have surrogate key to provide the unique reference of the dimension number. It is include the columns define data range, date range, validity of vision, which is data ID. Same SCD. See, SCD1 is the latest value, which is change is source and detect the dimension to be overwritten. Type 3 support the sorting of two vision only, which is dimension separate column. See, adding column. The table contain the column of the current value of a member of process plus either the original or previous value of parent. Type 3 is use additional the column to track the one key and of history. So this is a answer is type 2. Going for 44. You have a data stored in the thousand of CSV file. You have stored data source in CSV file in data. You have a thousand of CSV file in data link Gen 2. Each file have a header row followed by properly formatted surrogate by return /r/n, which is new line character and carriage return. You are implementing the pattern of batch load the files daily into the dedicated SQL pool and Synapse. You need to implement the pattern that the batch load the files daily into the dedicated SQL. After that store, they are moved to the dedicated SQL pool in the Synapse. Analytic by using polybase. You need to skip the header rows when you import the files in the data warehouse before building the loading the pattern. You need to skip the header row. Before building the loading pattern, you need to prepare record database object and other periodic Excel. Which three should be sequenced? See, there is a files in the 1000 files in CSV in that Gen 2, which is new line character. There is a header in the each file. We want to move to the file to as a Synapse dedicated SQL using polybase. These are the action. What action you need to do? First, I told which is data source. First, you want to create database scope credential. Okay, not this one. Next is use undo. Next, create an external file format set as first row option. Sorry, this is second. This is third. We'll go. See, create the database scope credential that use the Azure directory application and server principal activity. Okay, that is first. Second is create external file format. Create external file format set as first row option is because they mention first row. Then use the create external table as select areas and configure reject answer. We'll see the answer. See, plus group credential, then external database. It's wrong. I changed the order actually. So that is wrong. Which one is 44? First is correct. I creating a database credential. Create a database group credential that is for. Uh, then what we do is create external data source. Create external. Okay, first is credential. That external data source. Also create external file format. Just I want to know its explanation for this one. So correct. I don't know which is the correct one. Actually, here exam source is different. They mention. They mention like what I've done previously, which is create external source, create external source in ADFC. Oh, they mention like ADFC is first, then first row, and they don't do this one. They add this one. I don't know which one is correct. It is different. Ah, they mention like this one. I don't know. This one has ADF's location. They mention like what is it? This one ADF location. What is the question? Same question. Please forward this one. This question actually. You have to skip that. So I don't know which is the answer, but so normally we do the credential is first. First credential, then external source, second is external source, the third is so credential is first, the second is external source, next file format. This is the format, and then we do the CS create external. It does not support CTS. Okay. So first we need to create credential. Let in Google I'll see what is how to create the uh, create data from data lake to synapse using polybase. So first is data source, first credential, data source, file format, then table. So here you see means first credential is create database, scope credential is first one, first credential, then data source, then data source. Then what you need to do, which is file format. So these are the things. First credential, then file, then data source. Third is file format. Credential, data source, and file format. 45th, you are building a Azure Synapse dedicated SQL pool that contain fact table. The already dedicated SQL pool that is a fact table of transaction. The first of 2020. You need to ensure the table meets the following requirement. Minimize the processing time to delete the data older than 10 years. Minimize the queries of year to date. So table have a 10 years data, which is 1 year means that delete into. So fact table normally which distribution, which there's using partition. No, this partition, and also here with partition. This is transaction date. We see the answer. Partition and transaction data. This is a fact table, so partition is correct and date ID is correct. The box office is partition and range is right for value for partition. So part 2 is partition on the date column. So create the range right partition for daytime, which is following partition is index 12 partition. Yeah, 12 partition 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. In each month of the year, creating partition on right. 46th. You are performing the explanatory analysis buffer on analytics Gen 2 account. Perform explanatory by using other serverless SQL pool. Busper. This is the open set, bulk, data source, format, and first two. They mention like a star dot CSV, only CSV which is strip data is 2020. It's the performing explanatory analysis of busfare and the Azure N2 account by using the to execute the transit query means what should happen. So answer is all CSV file because they mentioned the like CSV. So all CSV file name contain trip data. Answer will see. Sorry. Only not sorry all CSV, not all CSV. It is only CSV